I am Plato, born in the ancient city of Athens in 427 BCE, during a time of great political upheaval. I belong to a noble family, one with deep roots in Athenian aristocracy. My father, Ariston, traced his lineage to the early kings of Athens, and my mother, Pryxian, was related to Solon, the great Athenian lawmaker. From an early age, I was drawn to the intellectual and political life of my city, but little did I know that my journey would lead me to question the very foundations of society, morality, and reality itself. My youth unfolded during a time when Athens was at the height of its power, a cultural and intellectual center of the ancient world. However, this period was also marked by political turmoil, especially during the Peloponnesian War, which devastated Athens and led to the fall of its democratic government. These early experiences of political instability influenced my thinking about the state, justice, and the ideal society. As a young man, I had a keen interest in philosophy, poetry, and politics. I studied under some of the best teachers of my time, but the most pivotal moment in my intellectual development came when I met Socrates, a man whose method of questioning, probing, and relentless pursuit of truth left an indelible mark on me. Socrates, with his commitment to virtue and his belief in the examined life, became my mentor, and I often accompanied him in the agora as he questioned the people of Athens. The event that shook the core of my beliefs and drove me to the life of a philosopher was the trial and execution of Socrates in 399 BCE. The democracy of Athens, shaken by the Peloponnesian War, accused Socrates of corrupting the youth and impiety, charges that were deeply unjust. I was present at the trial, and I saw how the democratic system I once admired could fail, leading to the death of one of the wisest men I had ever known. Socrates' death was a turning point for me. I could no longer see Athens' democracy as an ideal system. I became disillusioned with politics as it was practiced in my time, and instead turned to philosophy as a means to search for truth, justice, and the ideal form of governance. It was through Socrates that I learned the importance of dialectical reasoning and the pursuit of wisdom, and I would spend the rest of my life developing these ideas. After Socrates' death, I left Athens to travel, seeking to expand my philosophical understanding. I spent time in Italy, where I was introduced to Pythagorean thought. The Pythagoreans believed in the immortality of the soul and in a cosmos ordered by numbers and harmony. These ideas resonated deeply with me and influenced my thinking on metaphysics and ethics. In Egypt, I learned from their ancient wisdom and mathematics, which further shaped my understanding of the universe as a place of order and structure. These experiences broadened my philosophical horizon and deepened my commitment to exploring the eternal truths that underlie the changing world of appearances. Upon my return to Athens around 387 BCE, I founded the Academy, one of the earliest institutions of higher learning in the Western world. The Academy was more than a place of teaching. It was a community of scholars dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge and philosophical inquiry. Here, we discussed topics ranging from ethics to mathematics, politics to metaphysics. I taught for many years and gathered students who would carry on my philosophical legacy, the most famous among them being Aristotle. In the Academy, we embraced a method of inquiry that was grounded in reason and dialectic, an approach that I had learned from Socrates. However, I also sought to systematize knowledge and philosophy, going beyond Socratic questioning to construct a comprehensive philosophical system that could address the nature of reality, ethics, politics, and the human soul. One of my most significant contributions to philosophy is the theory of forms. I began to develop this theory as I wrestled with the question of how we can know anything with certainty in a world of change. Everything around us is in a state of flux, yet we seem to have knowledge of concepts like beauty, justice, and equality, which are unchanging. I concluded that the physical world is not the true reality, but merely a shadow of a higher, eternal reality. The things we perceive with our senses are only imperfect copies of the perfect, unchanging forms that exist in an immaterial realm. For example, when we see a beautiful object, it is beautiful because it participates in the form of beauty, which is perfect and eternal. True knowledge, then, is not derived from sensory experience, but from intellectual understanding of these forms. This theory would come to underpin much of my philosophy, particularly my views on ethics and politics. I believe that only those who could grasp the forms, especially the form of the good, were fit to govern. This led me to the conclusion that philosophers, who seek knowledge of the forms, should be the rulers of society. My disillusionment with the political systems of my time and my belief in the existence of a higher, unchanging truth culminated in one of my most famous works, The Republic. In this dialogue, I explore the question of justice and the ideal state. I propose that society should be organized into three classes: the rulers, philosopher kings, the warriors, and the producers. Each class has its own role, and justice is achieved when each class performs its function without interfering in the roles of others. At the heart of my vision for the ideal state is the belief that only philosophers, who understand the form of the good, are capable of ruling justly. I argue that most people are ruled by their appetites or emotions, but philosophers, through their understanding of the forms, can see beyond the immediate and the transient to what is truly good for the state. The Republic also explores my ideas about education and the soul. I believe that education is the process of turning the soul towards the light, away from the shadows of the physical world, toward the eternal truths of the forms. The famous allegory of the cave, which I present in the Republic, illustrates this idea. Most people are like prisoners in a cave, mistaking shadows for reality, but the philosopher is the one who escapes the cave and sees the truth. As I grew older, my thoughts turned more deeply to metaphysics and the nature of the cosmos. In dialogues like the Timaeus, I explore the creation of the universe and the role of a divine craftsman, or demiurge, who shapes the cosmos according to the eternal forms. I also delve into questions about the nature of the soul, the afterlife, and the immortality of the human spirit. My later works are more speculative, and I move beyond the Socratic method to develop a more complex system of thought. However, throughout my life, my commitment to the pursuit of truth and the belief in an ordered, intelligible universe remained constant. As I look back on my life, I see that my greatest contribution to the world has been my philosophy. Through my dialogues, I have sought to challenge conventional wisdom, question assumptions, and guide others toward a deeper understanding of truth, justice, and the nature of reality. The Academy continues to thrive, and my students, particularly Aristotle, carry forward the philosophical torch, expanding upon and critiquing my ideas. Though I may not have lived to see the realization of the ideal state I envisioned in the Republic, I remain hopeful that future generations will continue the pursuit of wisdom and justice. My life has been dedicated to the search for truth, and I believe that through reason and philosophical inquiry, we can come to understand the eternal, unchanging principles that govern the cosmos and the human soul.